young country, but we have a very long history. So the music didn't start when Slovak Republic was established.
We are not operating in such a business environment. This is more like a hobby, a spare time activity. We are pretty small, and also Slovakia is a pretty small market. So it's more about like passion.
The scene is really independent because major labels don't care.
Slovakia Records has a very interesting beginning because it wasn't established as an idea, like to build a recording label. It basically was Sheena who wanted to make music and wanted to bring it to public, and back in those days there were not many possibilities to get it out. There were major labels that you could apply to and then hope for the best, or take it the way that Sheena decided, establish her own label and started doing CDs, and sort of naturally evolved because first of all it was just for her and their band, nowadays called Longital. But there were later on many other musicians were thinking that they would like this freedom and different approach. And I think that's what made Slovakia Records grow to this today's size, because it was established 2001 and until today. I mean, we just released album number 112.
Our main thing is that we want to support the young musicians. For a certain time we were pretty much labeled as beat music or instrumental hip-hop label, and we did not really like that. We didn't want to be like a genre-specific label. We always wanted to keep it open-minded. Our main channel is Bandcamp, definitely. The biggest fan base that we have came from Bandcamp, and majority of our releases is offered for Name Your Price. The closest relationship we have is probably with I Love Music, and we even share some of the artists, so we are that close and music-wise so similar.
I founded this label with my friend Richard, I think 18 years ago, and the only aim and only goal was to make a platform to release our 4-track EP we recorded at the time. We are a label of minor genres like electronic music, but we also release like neoclassical, minimalism, whatever. This time, musicians maybe don't need some record label because there are so many powerful tools to publish music, to release albums like Bandcamp or maybe Spotify. But I think that like record label with some kind of face and history and respect can be kind of like a guarantee of some quality or some level of that music.
Loads of Slovak fans get our music through Radio FM. They are huge help, they supporting our music literally from the very beginning, and loads of audience found our music through them.
Radio FM is something like BBC Six Music in Great Britain or FM4 in Austria or Radio Wave in Czech Republic, so alternative station or station for non-mainstream genres and music.
I'm happy that we have radio, which is public radio, which is supporting Slovak music. I'm happy that we have many new festivals, that the club scene is more healthy and healthy year by year. So this is good for also for young bands. And we all need young bands, and the club scene is the basic part of music scene. So, and club scene is based on young new bands and new ideas. So it's a crucial thing for music scene.
I think we have really good venues in the whole Slovakia. If a band from abroad wants to tour here, I think it's more options than just Bratislava. It's also Žilina, Trenčín, Košice, Banská Bystrica, Prešov.
compared to the size of our country, we have enough venues. It's not clubs, let's say, it's venues, it's cultural hubs like Stanica. So there is enough venues where to play. We are a bunch of friends from high school. In 1998 we created an NGO, and in 2003 we opened cultural venue Stanica. In English it means railway station, and it's still functioning railway station. We reconstructed the whole space, we built one more venue, we a little changed the environment around the Stanica and created a living hub for meeting people, for creativity, for all kinds of arts and joy.
I think that the community around music is healthy and good because we don't take it too seriously, and this is, I think, big advantage. The first year of Pohoda was just meeting of friends because we had a band and we wanted to invite them to our city, so it started like gathering of friends, nothing more. And since then Pohoda was developing every year or rising every year step by step, very slowly, and at the end it became the biggest festival in Slovakia, but it's not important that it's the biggest festival, but I hope that it's a good festival in all meanings what it should have.
Well, Grape was founded 10 years ago, and the original idea was to create a small event for like 2,000 people, but with the European standards. The idea was to bring maybe 1 or 2 foreign acts, and that's it. But already at the first year, there were Roixop, there were subways, and the attendance was 6,000 people, so the ambition could be much bigger and higher. At the moment, we sell out every year. I think this was the 4th time in a row with the capacity of 20,000 people. And this is something that no one expected, and it came pretty much organically.
The cliché of Slovak music is to think that being Slovak has these limitations of just talking to a Slovak audience.
It's always good when you can be confronted with music from all over the world, so this is also one goal of Pohoda, to show to our musicians how other musicians do music and to prepare space where they can meet, discuss, and where they can exchange ideas. And I think that it's very important for music scene.
We will hear some music, Slovak music, as you expect, but first 2 things. Please don't kill the bands, but be honest. I don't want to hear any, that's interesting. No, if it's boring, tell us it's boring as hell. You can also tell us why do you think, but not necessary. And second one, I didn't choose the bands and songs, so do not kill me either, right? Chad. So, what's interesting on Chad Wig?
Okay, I've heard Chad before. I've never seen them live, but I actually have one of their albums. I think they're really good in the genre. It's tight, it's brutal, it's heavy, it's quite catchy. What they're doing seems to be working for themselves locally. I don't know if they can make a living out of it. I think they're really good in the genre, but I think it will be difficult to break through to a massive global market. Even though that music is very popular with the right audience, it's difficult to stand out.
Just to point out, they are not making living with music. Derek, does it matter if you know the lyrics of this band, if you can understand what they singing?
Yeah, I was going to say I agree with Vic about the music. My only thing is, given the topics and the subject matter that they sing about, not being able to understand it kind of takes something away from the music. I mean, I know they're very sort of politically active and socially aware in their lyrics, but you know, for a Western audience, if you don't understand it, I think it loses some of its impact, which, and like Vic said, it is a crowded marketplace, and to stand out, it is quite difficult. Musically, I think they're great. I mean, they're very tight, there's a lot of energy and passion, and it's great. My only thing is, yeah, if you don't get the lyrics, it loses something.
But I also think that if the lyrics and the singing is like, it doesn't matter what language it's in. I mean, I can never understand it when it's in English. So
that's universal language, isn't it? Personally, I don't care if a band sings in their native language or English or whatever. So for me, it's not important at all to understand the lyrics.
This is like endless discussion if the band should sing in their native language or in English. And I am a big fan of native languages in music.
I think Slovak music should not be afraid of being Slovak in the terms of language, although it limits its possibilities then later. And we found it out many times that, you know, the language itself is a limitation, but not entirely. For example, Katka Malikova as a musician, you know, she has a very specific style. It is folk, but it has this ability to transcend through the local, so it is also in the world charts.
It's really nice, obviously, to follow trends and to like stay sort of up to date of what's going on abroad. But then it's also important to try to create something that is unique and that has its own identity.
I think the general misconception is that Slovak folklore are just pentatonic melodies and just certain types of string instruments that we use, but actually there's a huge portion of Slovak identity among the rhythms, and especially among like the feeling of the music. When you picture a typical Slovak landscape, you see like foggy hills and like very mystic Slavic mythology and stuff like this, and that also is a part of folklore. And I think the cliche is just to focus only on like the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Slovak music in terms of melodies and the instruments, but there's so much more in terms of like the general feeling.
I think it's great that people are brave enough to believe that it can grow abroad, because since we are a post-communist society, we've been raised in a thought that you can never make it out of the country, and this is something what even I feel on myself, that I've been always told that everything is impossible. And now, since I've been meeting many foreigners, I can see that everything is possible. So I just wish that even more musicians would dare to try it, because I think we can make it anywhere if we want to.
Most important thing, in my opinion, is to have a really good fan base in your home country, to have like a basis where you can work from, and then try to get known in other markets as well.
There's no magic formula. It's a really hard thing, I know, for European bands to kind of try and get any form of international success. There's no one answer to that. It depends a little bit on luck, but also it just depends on putting in the hours, getting out there, playing to people, playing festivals, going on tour, emailing, a million people, and just trying as much as you can to get your music to as many people as possible.
Success doesn't come in 5 minutes. You have to work at it. And if you're in a country like Slovakia, it's not maybe famous for its rock and roll music or for its pop music or whatever. So it's fighting against the UK. It's fighting against France, Germany, and also the USA, of course, Australia. So it's if people are singing in Slovak, it's going to be quite difficult for them to break through to audiences who can't speak Slovak. So you're really limiting yourself to Slovakia, Czech Republic and Poland, really. Maybe some the other Slavic countries. So singing in English might help a band, but it's not the most important thing. There are many Icelandic bands that are successful that sing in Icelandic or in different languages, not English, and they're successful. So I think It's the quality of the songs, the quality of the performance, the quality of the production, the recording techniques, and just originality. I think everyone really is looking for something that stands out from the crowd.
Some people will tell you that it's a problem when you are from Central or Eastern Europe. It makes you like your start is on a different level than if you are from Western countries. But in the end, I mean, no, I haven't got the feeling when we were playing abroad. It was always really nice. So I haven't heard these things from people attending the gigs. I've heard that from the music industry people, but yeah, well, they know what they're talking about probably, but yeah, the audience around Europe, it's usually really nice. So I haven't got this feeling that I'm from Slovakia and I should be, I don't know. Yeah.
If like the Slovak music scene wants to be competitive with other music scenes from other countries, they have to invest in their own repertoire. And Lala Music was founded last year, I think. They promoted Sharp Festival, a showcase festival, the first time, and that's the absolute important and vital step to get on this stage, on this European stage, to give young artists the chance of support for touring, going abroad, present themselves to a wider audience, not only like the local ones.
Well, these export efforts of Slovak musicians have been here since the early 2000s. Like, for example, even band Longital, they have been already present on South by Southwest in the US. Many other musicians already tour outside Slovakia, mostly for Slovak communities, but they have also different audiences. So I think that now and these days, it could be a hype that could transfer to something really vivid, to really something working. And this kind of attention that is for the Middle European market is really interesting because it brings variety to music. And they realized it, I think, when for example, Lala Music organized Sharp Festival, a showcase festival that was really small, cozy, and very efficient festival. And although this is a very small market and it's not so professionalized, I think the opportunity is here.
We started 3 years ago as a group of music professionals or music enthusiasts who work in various fields of music. Our initial idea was just that we are going to try to approach festivals from abroad and labels. And then we realized that it's not so easy, that the scene has to be strong from the inside before you venture out and you want to do something abroad. We are looking for more people who would potentially do, for example, management, or they would try to work with an artist to push them abroad. That's something that very little people are doing in Slovakia. There's Tajna Lehocka, you can basically name them, I think, or count them on one hand.
I think the crucial part is to have a good manager that knows how things go and that knows what you want to do, you know, with your band, or maybe even a team, you know, a booker, a manager, label. It's really important, because without that, you can go and you can play tours, but that's all I think. It's not gonna, you know, there's no super cool magic in this, and you won't go any higher without proper people around you.
So we need more managers, more artist managers and more booking agents. Something that you never have any guarantee it will work, and you never have any guarantee you will get paid. So it's a bit risky in the beginning, but if you work hard, then you can make a living out of it.
The most important is to find your audience. It is important to understand who is your audience and where do you find them, where you can play for them.
Why are you covering the mirror?
Success for me is the point where at least half of the goals you set out in the beginning you can say were achieved, because you're halfway there, so it's usually the turning point.
I would say that if you manage to do what you love, be able to earn money on it and actually do it professionally, and when you are able to help other people through your medium, I think that would be the biggest success for me.
Maybe in this country, success is freedom, that whatever you are doing, if it gives you freedom, for me it's a success. And also, in a human way, it's a success for me is a humbleness, or being humble and not believing that you are something more than other people.
For me, success means that you can do what you want and make a living of it, just to concentrate on things you really like.
It's really depressing sometimes, like to push yourself somewhere you haven't been before. But when you do it, and when people accept that, I think is one of the most rewarding. And I think that's the reason why people do music for so little money and for so long, because like that feeling is really, really, it's intense, I guess.
Just let me breathe it, stand on my tiptoes, so